Hi guys! Today I will be taking in the waist on two pairs of men's shorts. I already have a video on how to take in the waist on jeans, but the pair I work on in that video is manufactured a bit differently from the ones I will show you now. The shorts I will be working on today are manufactured more like dress pants. I will use the opportunity to show a slightly different perspective and hopefully make you more confident when approaching this alteration. So here are the shorts I've thrifted for my husband, and unfortunately they are both a bit big at the waist. I've already measured how much I need to take in. I need to go a couple of inches below the waist on the first pair, which is just a size bigger. When putting the pins, I also angle them to show where I need to finish. You might think of it as a dart that has a tip. On the second pair though, which is two sizes bigger, I have to go much lower, all the way to the front, so that it looks good when it's done, which is my ultimate goal. When I measure for this, especially on a client, and I'm not comfortable going all the way down, I angle the pins to follow the natural curve that I'm trying to achieve later. I will work on both pairs simultaneously to show their similarities and differences as I go. I need to remove the pins to work on the center back seam. I mark where the pin used to be on both sides simultaneously. I like to use a sliver of soap, but you can use chalk or a marking pen, whatever works best for you. Sometimes I might transfer the pins back on one side, especially if I'm not going to work on the pants right away, so I don't lose the marks. To be able to redo the center back seam, I have to break the seams first. I start with the belt loops. These shorts have two at the center back, so I'm going to remove both of them. Starting at the top, I use a seam ripper to break the bar tacks. Bar tacks are a pain to unpick, but they are common on belt loops to make them more durable, so like it or not, I will have to deal with them. Then I unpick the bottom bar tacks and now the belt loops only hold at the waistband seam. I will also unpick the top stitching at the top and bottom of the waistband. When I remove the top stitching, I go an inch or two more than I need to take in. I also remove all the labels that stand in the way. Then I break the joining seam for the waistband and detach the rest of the belt loops and the reinforcement piece. This piece is for reinforcing the belt loops, and I need that out of the way too. Now that everything is out of the way, I draw my new seam line. Folding the shorts in half at the center back seam, I draw the new seam line by hand, following the shape and angle marked by the pins. I aim to finish before I reach the zipper fly. I pin it here to ensure I will take in the same amount on both sides. I also need to separate the waistband at the center so I can work on it. I use the center back seam as a guide where to cut and go through all the layers without separating them. Then I align both sides of the waistband, face sides together, matching at all the seams, and pin them together. I left the pins where I measured so I can see them on the wrong side where I'm about to sew. I'm drawing the seam lines over the pins, and now it is safe to take them out of the way. I will follow the same process on the other pair of shorts. First, I will transfer the marks with the chalk on both sides. You can see that I hadn't pinched exactly the middle when I took the measure, but I'll fix that later. I remove the label and the belt loop, which in this case is only one. To take care of the waistband, I measure the total I need to take in, divide it by 2 and distribute it on both sides of the center back seam. I break the top stitching on the waistband an inch or so more than I need to take in so that I can work on the inside without restriction and remove the rest of the belt loop and the remaining labels. I cut through the waistband at the center back seam, then I mark half of what I need to take in on the inside of the waistband and pin. As this pair is top stitched at the center back seam, I need to break the top stitching again an inch or so below where I need to go. I fold it in half, pin it, and draw the new seam line over the marks. I draw a natural curve and finish smoothly in the original stitching. I move on to stitching. I start by sewing back the waistband together at the new seam line. It looks like this. Next, I sew the new back curve. I follow the line that I've drawn all the way down to the front. Here is what we are dealing with at this point. Next, I need to get rid of the excess fabric. If you want to ensure you've done a good job, now is the time to try and fit before all the cutting is done. Here we are trying on the pants, which seem to fit nicely, so I move on to the next step. But first, I will get to the same point with the other pair. The fit is okay, so let's move on to removing what we've taken in. I start with the waistband. I cut out the excess, leaving an appropriate seam allowance. Then iron press to shape. On the second pair, as I've taken in less, I believe it would not create that much bulk, so I'm folding it without cutting and pressing it to fix the seams in place. The next step would be to get rid of the excess below the waist. I'm going to serge. You can cut out the excess with scissors if you don't own a serger. I aim for 3/8 of an inch or 1 cm seam allowance. That's what the original allowance is, and I follow that for a consistent look. This pair needs the top stitching redone as well. I start at the top, sewing close to the edge and over the seam allowance. The more consistent you stay with the original seam, the better it's going to look. I finish a bit over the original seam and backstitch for durability. Now I need to decide what I want back on the pants. Obviously I will keep the belt loops, but as for all these labels, I'm not putting them back on. Sometimes when I do alterations for other people, and if it is a brand they cherish, I put the labels back on as they want. It's up to you. I'm moving straight to the belt loops. If you want to keep the label, stitch it back now, as you can still work on one layer of the waistband and it will not show on the face side. Having these two pairs next to each other shows that I've achieved what I aimed for, as they are practically the same size at the waist now. I'm about to reattach the belt loop and the supportive piece underneath it. I'm pinning the belt loop at the center back seam, face sides together, and the supporting piece on the inside. I'm doing the same on the other pair, except I will not use the supportive piece as the belt loops are coming over the pockets and it's unnecessary. I fix the belt loops and then insert the back into the waistband. I cover approximately 3/8 of an inch or 1 cm into the waistband, as this is the seam allowance I'm working with. I pin everything in place so that I can top stitch it. I'm careful that everything looks good on the inside as well as on the face side. I top stitch on the top and bottom side of the waistband. Finally, I fix the belt loops by folding and stitching at the top and then at the bottom, exactly as they used to be in the beginning. I repeat all the steps with the other pair. Fix the belt loops, top stitch the waistband at the bottom and then at the top side, and fix the belt loop back in place. And here is how the pants turned out. If you are considering altering clothes, I hope you will find this video helpful. If so, please like it, subscribe and hit the bell for updates. If you use any of my tutorials to fix or make something on your own,
Tag me on Instagram at Sewing for a Living so I can see it and love it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!